Deborah, how did you go from, or sorry, not go from, but what was your process in terms of, you mentioned growing up with the Cinderella syndrome, right? Okay, I just have to like sit here and, look a certain way, be a certain way. Prince is going to show up and happily ever after. How did you come to realize, like, maybe I kind of bought a load of hooey here?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then how do I actually become my own heroine?
Right. Long, slow process.
Mm,
There was a certainly a long period of time where, you know, went on a ton of dates and just kept looking for that person who, I was expecting anyway, a partner to do everything, to be attractive and to spark that kind of excitement, and yet to be kind and to be steady and to be good father material and to be a good friend and to be, all in one person. And sometimes that's hard to find. I did, again, being in a longer term relationship that ended, you just come to a point in your life where you say, what is the most important thing to me?
mm,
And you as women, sometimes if children is what we really want, there's a certain sense of time pressure. If
mm,
people want to give birth to a child, there's definitely a time pressure. But even with adoption, there's
mm,
there's a time pressure. And it just comes to that point where we just have to, again, coming back to that decision, we just have to decide. Now, that's not to say that then life is all unicorns and roses. So
mhm,
we make that decision, and then it's still a long process. I will tell you that I couldn't be happier now. My children are 18 and 23. I'm an empty nester for the first time, and I'm really loving my life. And at 35, if I had looked into the future and seen that, yes, I had children, but they would be gone and I'd be living alone, I would think I'd be really sad. And
mm,
again, it was that idea of, the cultural expectation of partnership and marriage, the idea that, somebody's going to be taking care of me. And taking care of yourself can be tough,
mm,
but it can also be exhilarating, knowing that
mm,
you're responsible for everything. When I adopted my kids, I knew going in that I was going to have to give the baths, read the bedtime stories, cook the dinner, do the dishes, and take out the trash. I
mm,
mean, that I'd have to do it all. And I would laugh sometimes when friends of mine or people I knew would talk about their husbands going on a business trip. And they'd be saying, oh my gosh, he's going to be gone for 4 days. It's so hard. And not so hard for me because it's what I expected and what I chose.
And
But it
that
was a
shit,
process getting there.
yeah. And I love that, in terms of looking forward, anticipating if you were in your 30s looking now, you might have thought you would be sad,
Yeah.
and yet it's a shift in perspective, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
the choice to be a single parent, this could be scary or exhilarating. I'm going to
Yes.
choose exhilarating.
This is very true. And I will tell you, single parenthood is very varied. People are single parents by circumstance, like divorce or widowhood, or, maybe never having married, but not, having their partner in their lives so much. That can be really hard, and that requires a really big mind shift to get to life is beautiful. Whereas if
Mm,
you've gone through sort of the hard stuff of I don't have a partner, that fairy tale is, like not really real. It's a bubble that
mm,
popped. It's not real, that fairy tale. And if you've gone through that whole process and then become a parent and you're
mm,
ready for it and open for it, it's really not hard. It's
mm,
it's not hard. It can be very joyful. Of course, there are moments as a
Yeah.
parent where, I remember when my kids were little and, you do triage, whoever's screaming the loudest needs
Yeah.
you the most.
Is there
But
blood?
yeah, that's right. But but also there's community too, particularly in adoption. And I hope for other single moms, certainly for moms of kids who are donor conceived, there can be
Mm.
community. We have my best friends now are people who also adopted children. And so my life was enriched greatly.
Mm. Mm. So what was that process like for you? You said it was a slow process of really
Yeah.
kind of realizing, okay, I'm the one here, right?
Yeah.
And so what would you say that looked like? Were there kind of like moments? Were there kind of pivotal things that you did?
Yeah.
Was it just a slow unfolding? What did that look like for you?
Yeah. I, I, it was hard coming up to that day of decision. And there were definitely tough moments and moments of loneliness and moments of regret and moments of this is not how my life is supposed to pan out. And these are not the expectations. My life is not living up to the expectations that everybody told me it would live up to,
Mm.
that I had. And and that was hard. And I think that coming slowly to the like buying my house, for example, that happened before I adopted my children. And that was hard, but not that hard. That was, I just like, I can do this. It's not something that at that time a lot of single women did, but I can do this. It's a good idea. It's financially a good idea and I can do this. So that was more like dollars and cents and the spreadsheet and all of that. The big one, which was adopting my kids, you can't put on a spreadsheet. I mean, I just knew in my heart that this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a parent. And because circumstance led me to this place in my life in my 30s where I really didn't want to start all over meeting somebody. And, when you're trying to meet somebody with the expectation that, come on, hurry up, I got to have kids,
Yeah.
that puts a damper on, on the building of a relationship. So,
Mm.
um, so I went through this, I don't really know how to put it, just this questioning,
Mm.
questioning for a couple of years. And once I made that decision, it was
Yeah.
like the blinders came off and it all became really clear.